I have a lot of ideas, and they're all like running around inside of my head. And I want to discover and go through all of them with you today. So, I use Vim Fugitive, which is a Git plugin for NeoVim, and it's really good. It works in almost exactly the way that I want, in the sense that there are a lot of Vim but easier type of plugins that usually provide some sort of UI, which I usually really don't want. Like, you can take LazyGit, for example. It is initially made for the terminal, but it is also available as a NeoVim plugin. So you like start it, and then it brings you this entire UI, which is so useful, I guess. But I don't like that. I really don't like that. I don't like UIs, and especially with Git, I prefer commands. They feel far less like bloated. They just do directly the thing that I already know how to do. But in some cases, having a UI is kind of convenient. For example, being able to search and fuzzy search through commits. That is very convenient. So say I want to check when I removed some sort of plugin. So yeah, Astro, remove, when I removed camel case motion. And then maybe I amend that commit by rebasing. Or maybe I do something else, whatever it might be, check it out or something. So while it is already doable with something like git log, it's a bit more annoying, I guess, because then you have to git log, find the thing, and then somehow copy the thing that you want, blammo, and then you go and use it separately. So when I am already using this UI for more easy searching of commits, it makes sense to add more functionality into this view. In some other situations, so I have a mapping. Let's go to my mappings and search for CC. I have this mapping that just git commits, but I also want to make a mapping that lets me commit in few different ways. Either adding every file to the commit, adding all files that were previously staged, so the -a flag on git commit, or amend the commit, or amend the commit but don't edit the commit message. So I want to add that, but all of this I already know how to do, so it's just a matter of time. One thing that is like a question in my mind is one certain thing. Let's execute git stash list, and I think it will bring us to like a special menu. There are no stashes. That makes sense. Can you stash a specific file? Let's say like example. Also, I'm surprised that I don't have stashes, but I guess I don't. Interesting. So we have exassimple. Is that the only thing? It is not the only thing. Let's put exassimple in some other place. So here, for example. Oops. Exassimple. So can we git stash Astro snippets all? Like, can we stash a specific file? I think we can, right? Interesting. What if we specify push explicitly? Okay. And nothing else got touched. Okay, so you can. Didn't know that. I don't really use stashes very often. Because they are kind of cumbersome, which is something that I want to fix now. So now when we do a get stash list, okay, so I know that fugitive, no fucking way I don't store it. What? That's crazy. Vim fugitive. I thought I stored the link. Why are you on Yandex? What the hell? Vim fugitive. Here we go. I usually store links to make a bunch of plugins, so I guess let's add it. So plug Vim fugitive. Here we go. So I think it provides some like certain special thing for stashes. Like it does for gedit, for example. Which I could potentially use, but already use get signs for it, so kind of no need. Dreed. Dreed. Let's also put chat there. Whoops. Like this. It's a variant that operates on the buffer rather than on the file itself. That's very convenient, actually. That's very, very, very convenient. Holy shit, I should probably use that. Let's add that. Dreed. Drite. Yes, that is exactly how you're supposed to pronounce it, for sure. Writes to both the work tree and index version. Whatever. How do you pronounce this then? Jrep? Yeah, jrep. Jmove. Delete and jbrowse. Interesting. And that seems to be the only result. So it doesn't provide a specific thing for stashes specifically, which is actually a good thing. So if we just do get, we get this. Which I already kind of don't like, not gonna lie. Can I close? I cannot. Okay, so, and then if I try to do press enter, it also doesn't bring in my command mode. And here we come into the main source of the issue that I've been having. The fact that fugitive remaps my mappings that I have for other stuff. For me, when I press capital K, it closes the buffer. And when I press enter, this is how I get into command mode, not colon. So let's check like what it has enter mapped to. Interesting. So these two are mine. I am wondering if I can conveniently just move this to a different thing. Because it looks pretty cryptic. Especially considering this. This I think is special. Okay, what about... Actually, capital K. Well, I wish you would just come up with like a cool looking window. Come on. What does K do though? Let's search for it smartly. Apparently nothing. Interesting. So in that case, why does it not work? Huh. Previous hunk. Oh, that's stupid. That's so dumb. Okay, so one way of handling it, I don't think I'm going to be using previous hunk. At least not here. Is to just delete this buffer local mapping, and blammo then I can close with capital K, which is what I expect to be able to do everywhere. So we solved that issue in theory. But with enter, what I want to do is move enter to another place. To another mapping. And basically see how it goes. Okay, let's start with something that I am not sure will work. Let's go to auto commands. Let's call it fugitive, because I'm basically fixing fugitive, kinda. I also considered NeoGet, but then I noticed that it has, like in the README it says, either dependent on FCF Lua or telescope, which kind of breaks the entire point. I am trying to move away from telescope for the most part, because it actually has a branches thing and a stashes thing, specifically because I don't like the bigness and the heaviness of the UI. So then if I open another UI just to open telescope again, that's just bad. So let's call, so on event file type, and what was it? Kind of surprised that there's no like direct stashes thing. So we're probably gonna continue using telescope for that. The reason why it can still be like important to configure this is because of git show. This still brings us into this same window where I can't use my mappings, and I use git show somewhat often. Although probably like I will still be using this for like logging functionality. So a viable option is to just not use this part of fugitive. Okay, then we still end up with something that I will definitely be doing through fugitive, and that is git rebase. I don't want to do a rebase right now because I guess why not, right? Let's rebase onto head with this. So on the previous commit, basically. Oh, for fuck's sake, yeah. I have to stash first. basically it brings us into this same window. So the file type is get. So when we enter a file, it has the get file type. We call this function that vim keymap, I think, delete modes normal x, and I think it also did operator pending mode. I don't remember though. Can we check? Yeah, it wouldn't be here. That's annoying. Let's, I guess, just open it directly. This is specifically fugitive, so it's not what we're looking for. If this menu was just and only like git status, basically, that would be pretty convenient, because if I want to stage something, well, now I basically have to go some lines down. It's kind of annoying. But I'm going to be using Telescope for this anyway. Like, I actually really like this workflow, considering that it also gives you the diffs of all the files. I use that all the time. I say that, oh, actually, I'm trying to move away from Telescope, and yet I keep on saying, oh, this is cool in Telescope, and this is cool in Telescope, and this is cool in Telescope. What other? Git show. Yeah, so this is git, and let's re-execute. And yeah, because I don't have my direct mapping for command mode, I have to go through these silly steps. Yes, so for operator pending mode as well. So what we do here is for all of this, remove this. And what other things do we have here? So buffer true. Can we do that just to be sure? Wait, it said boolean. Okay, so we can't say true. Brilliant. So this way, when we enter the get window, I can close it with capital K, which is most of the work, like most of my concern with it. So let's try it out. Git show. No such mapping. Interesting. And yet, what? So map. What? What? So it succeeded, but yelled at me. Can I make that thing silent? Silent true. Wait, that's not how it works. Okay, I have a hack for this. Let's do pcall. I think it works like this. So pcall is a Lua thing that catches errors. So if you just want something to ignore an error, just wrap it in a pcall. Let's do git show. And now I can close it with capital K. Brilliant, that's amazing. That's really good. It's really, really good. But also that explains to us that this happens before Fugitive sets the mappings, I think. Let's just hope and cope that I'm wrong. So with enter, we can't quite do it as easily. Seems like we can't just remap something. Like, we can just, make enter or some other key use plug or whatever. Which is pretty annoying. Different question. Do I want to use the like special enter thing? I think it's a good like assumption that I do. So let's make it with the intention that yeah, I'm going to be using it. So this is CR. But now remap is true, so that we basically catch the special enter key map here, and after that we do vim key map delete for normal mode for this buffer. So this has a likely chance to not work. So this might actually be okay. Can I can let's actually do git show one line dash s, and when I press this, interesting. Oh, that should also be for the buffer. Buffer is true. That sucks. Fine. Okay, let's fucking look at the source. Vim fugitive. And yes, the source is in Vim script. Jesus Christ. I guess I'm just not used to looking at Vim script. Let's hope and cope we can just search for it. And yes, we can. Okay. Okay, so in theory what this means is that we can just straight up map it to a special thing. I thought they were like special and not doable kinda, but that seems to not be the case. That's very good. So I guess let's just find the mapping for control or for enter. Where is it? Am I blind? I feel like it's not here. Well, it doesn't really matter because I know how to get it. Let's go here once again. Now we can actually check map. We cannot because I just removed it. So, whoops. Blammo. So map CR, and I'm hoping that this is just fine. So what we do here is map this to this special thing. We add a CR at the end, and here we add a CMD. This has a likely chance to just not work. Be prepared for that. We remove the remap, but keep the buffer, and we delete the buffer local enter thing. Let's try that out. Fuck. That's what I thought. I think that's because of the command though. Because what this control U does, it basically clears the count that you might have given. And this is just a keybind that you can press in command mode, which is why it needs this. So in theory, it should be okay. Okay, good. That's very good. Fuck yeah. This is like really good news, actually. This is really, really good news. So what this means is that everything in Fugitive is remappable. And not as, like, neat of a fashion as with, like, Lua plugins via ops or something. But absolutely good enough. So I am not sure if I am even going to be using that much of the functionality. So I'm not gonna look into like all the different mappings Fugitive provides for you to be able to do things, because most of the things I'm going to be doing in other ways anyway. So only when I find that this feels convenient, only then will I actually look into it a bit further. So, okay. Good. So we fixed the rebase -i. I usually do -i, and then some certain commits, like blammo. And then I can start an interactive rebase while still keeping my command mode mapping. Because command mode, when looking at a bunch of commits, is especially powerful. Like, oh, edit all commits that match this Vim pattern. That's very powerful. Okay. And also I still retain the ability to basically press enter on whatever it is. I don't yet use that functionality, but I want to make it easy for myself to be able to, if I do want to. Hope that makes sense. Okay. Boom. First thing done. Let's actually commit this. Okay. So enters in Fugitive. CR is command mode. Okay, good. Let's close all other tabs. I recently changed my KD mappings quite a lot. Make them like way more accessible. They were kind of cumbersome before because I made sure they didn't like conflict with my new Vim mappings, but I found a bunch of really nice to press mappings that were not used and put them to be used for like the terminal emulator. So it's like much nicer. So I can create a new tab via Alt-A, Alt-U, because apparently chord mappings do exist in Kitty. I can then press Alt-I, Alt-I, and that creates a new pane. Then I made nicer mappings for changing layouts. They used to be Control Shift and then either Q, W, E, or T, or R, I assume. Oh no, R reloads. So they're kind of cumbersome because first of all, I have to press the right side Control and Shift. So it's quite a lot of hand movement for changing a layout. Now it is Alt-I and then H, J, K, L. Yeah, and that's it actually. So if I press K, they are now equal, and horizontal Alt-A, J is equal, but one is much smaller. Let me draw you an example. I can press Alt-E to change tabs, by the way, now. And I'm not going to have so many tabs that is going to matter, so I only can go to the next tab. I can no longer go to the previous one, because I don't think that's very useful. So the situation is, say I want to execute some command, and I actually want to focus on it for now. So I basically want to make this window the big one. And how I did it before is I had mappings to change width and height and so on of each pane, and so I press Ctrl-Shift-D and I just hold it down until it's the big window. But then I realized, hold up, what if I just move it? And now it's the big one and in focus, and I can do something like grf something. Oops. Let's go back to dot files and execute this, only for it to not be there anyway. Just want to show you some output. It doesn't really matter. Blammo, so I can like focus on this a bit to see like like this is the commits that I want. Cool. Now I don't need this. I can press Alt R to close the pane, and now this is the main one. The coolest thing about it is that when I create a new one, it is still the small one. It resets, which is really nice. It's really nice, because otherwise what would be the case is that once I have made a pane big, now all the following panes will be big again, and I have to make them small again. Now I don't have to do that. I just move. It's that's very elegant. So yeah, then Alt-A, H makes them vertical and equal, and Alt-A, L makes one way smaller. It is pretty ridiculous, but it's not as ridiculous when I have like my whole screen space. So this is kind of how it looks. I don't use this often, or overall I guess I don't really use vertical as often, but it makes sense to have them. Blammo. Usually I use this one and possibly this one when I basically want to tile two different instances of NeoVim usually. Then I already said that I can press Alt-R to close a pane, but I can also press Alt-Shift-R to close an entire tab. Let's create some more tabs, and you can see how even though this is a chord, it's very easy to repeat multiple times, because it's Alt-A, Alt-U. I don't have to unpress Alt, so I can just spam them. So I can press Alt-Shift-W to move a pane, right? I can do a very similar thing on Alt-Shift-E to move a tab, which can sometimes be convenient and I underuse it. Cool thing about Alt-R that closes a pane, if it is the only pane, it will also close a tab. So most of the times, I won't need to press the extra shift, which is very convenient. So the reason why I only can go to the next tab or the next pane is because the most reasonable mapping, Shift Alt to go back, is now taken up by move either pane or tab to be the next one. So I guess as you can see here. So this is why I don't provide myself mappings to go to previous. The idea for this initially came up from me changing the mappings for NeoVim windows. Now I can press D' to go to the next window, or if I provide a count, to that specific window. So if I press 2 D', I don't move because I'm already on the second window. And I actually like this quite a lot because it's less key presses, considering that I will have at most 3 windows. I don't really do more windows than that. And it's usually 2. So why not just have a single go to the next window mapping? Very easy and fast to press. So I like that, and I decided to try it out on Kitty, and turns out it works really fucking well. So I can create a new tab or create a new pane like this. And alternatively, say I created a bunch of them, I can close all other windows in this tab, or close all other tabs in this Kitty instance overall. So Alt-A, Shift-I, and it closes all of them. So that is also very convenient. I use this all the time. I use a similar thing in my browser. In Vivaldi, you have an action to close all other tabs. So in my browser, it's just on Shift-Alt-W. But yeah, this kind of concept of close all other blank is very convenient sometimes. I used to have way more mappings before, and I removed a lot of them yesterday, and yet they ended up being so much more elegant. I love them a lot. Let me actually show you. The reason why one of my layouts is uneven, or 2 of my layouts can be uneven, is because I set the bias option for them. So for the fat layout, the bias is 90%. That is unfortunately as big as it can go, because ideally I just wanted a single line. You can't do that, unfortunately. So this is as big as it goes. Why? God fucking knows. There's just a Kitty thing once again. So yeah, here's how you do it if you want to have something similar. Back to here. We solved the rebase issue because I like the idea of commits containing everything about them. Sometimes though, I might make a commit and even multiple commits, and then I look through my git status and I'm like, oh fuck, this should have been in this commit. So now the workflow for that is that I check the commits, then I find, okay, it should be in this commit, then I press enter, and this is what I'm going to be working on. So I then copy the commit hash that goes after or before, in this case, this commit. Because when you rebase, what is rebasing anyway, or at least rebasing for what I am using it for? Basically, I want to add some, I want to amend this commit. I want to add some changes into this commit. So you can do git rebase -i this commit. But if you do it this way, it will not actually include that commit into your options. You won't be able to say, oh yeah, let's edit this commit. No. But if you specify the one before it, then you can. Which is why it makes sense to have something specifically like, oh, grab the commit before this one. I hope this makes sense. So all of this I added yesterday, but I cooked a lot before going to sleep. My brain was like fully taken up by all of this, because as usual I find another cool new thing that I could improve, and then I'm gonna program so much. I'm gonna be so productive. Yeah, sure, like productive, but for more NeoVim configuration, I think. I swear to God, I am not exclusively a NeoVim channel, it just so happens. Alright, so the issue with this, basically, what is even happening here? When I press enter after having picked a commit, it gives me a few options what to do with this picked information. I can either just view the file at this commit, or I can check out that file, so move in history to that point. And here it gets kinda fucky, because there are so many slightly different options for checkout. I can either check out the entire repository, or I can check it out prior to this commit, or I can check out this file specifically, or this file to prior. So this is a bit too much, and honestly this should just be done in some other different way, because this is too many options for something that are only slightly different. These two I do think are very nice. I can either simply just copy the commit hash, copy this commit hash, and then I can use this commit hash in whatever other git command, so it becomes far more flexible that way. Or copy prior. So basically this one. You might say, well, why don't you just go to this one? Because for some reason telescope is broken. Oh, because I'm stupid, because I have the fucking options, of course. Why don't you just go to this one? Let me show you. Let's ask for astro remove. Okay, so I want to basically go and look at what my UFO configuration used to be. This commit isn't just before this commit. Actually, God fucking knows what this commit is in the history. So when I search for something, a lot of the commits get removed. And this is why the prior action makes so much sense to have. Because I don't have access to the commit before this one here. And in Git, you can imagine show, and yeah, sure, this commit, you can usually just append the caret, and this will mean, oh, the commit before this one. So in actual Git, this is absolutely fine. But in some places, it still kind of like expects an actual commit and will not understand this syntax, which is why just being able to copy prior is pretty convenient. So let's think about this. How do I want to do this? If I want to check out this file, this is pretty easy because I can do checkout, blammo, I paste the commit, checkout, I paste the commit, and then I just specify %, because in command mode, %, means, oh, this file. Let's try this out. I copy this, and then I do git checkout this, just to make sure I'm not lying. And yes, it does work. Except my folds are now fucking broken. So that's what was breaking my folds, I think. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, that's the idea. Just recreate my folds. And by the way, if I do it like from here immediately, the issue will persist, so it doesn't matter. Okay, cool. So checking out this file just works, and it's super okay. So I don't need a special action for it. And in that case, that is even more true for like checking out an entire commit. I just do git checkout, which I think you can abbreviate as CO. Let's check that. Maybe not, it doesn't matter. But yeah, here I just paste the commit and that's it. So in other words, we don't need like the special actions that I have here right now. Let's go remove them. So they're in telescope. Here are all of them. Let's remove them. Oh, and by the way, if you do want them, if you do like this idea, this is the implementation. Because I added it and haven't even committed it, so it's not like you're going to be able to find it in my dot files. So we just copy prior. Hello? Oh, in fucking arrow keys mode. So we can either just view the current file at this commit, or copy this commit hash, or copy the one prior by using git ref parse. And that's it. So that solves the commits issue. And similarly, I can just copy prior and then do, oh, by the way, let's git switch main, because I checked out to a commit. Okay, so yeah, I can just do git rebase -i blammo. I don't mind typing it out that much. I would rather not, type it out, of course, but the idea of having like a billion different actions, I dislike even more. Okay, so commits are solved. The functionality that I wanted from them. Perfect. Next, I want to make a mapping for silent get, so that I don't have to type out this. Silent should be unnecessary, but I have seen it like mattering in one place, so might as well always be silent, because pressing Enter Shift G and then a space is kind of Hello. So let's go to mappings and then get, which shouldn't be here. Makes sense. Let's make a local search harp so that we can, anytime that we want, just immediately jump to this section. I love search harps so much. They're so powerful. So here, actually, I have a snippet for this. Let's make a mapping, and here it is. Like, my everything is slow again. Genuinely, streaming, I guess, is just so taxing on my computer. So it is going to be on CM, because I believe CM does... Oh, sorry, CM. So does nothing, and CM does nothing. Just to be sure, let's check the help page directly. Yeah, so it's not a thing. CM is free, I can use that, and it's going to be silent get space. I keep like reloading new of them, but I forget that I can actually just reload my mappings. I'll prove that to you. Do I have this? No, I don't. Leader space. First of all, let's yank this, search for it, so I can add it as a search harp. So right now when I press leader space, nothing happens, as expected. But if I add something to it, now I can reload my mappings, and when I press leader space, something happens. I can interactively reload my mappings. And when I reload them again, now nothing happens again. How does this work? So in your .config neovim, sure, it says a different directory, but you can ignore that. Assume that this is .config neovim. In Lua, explicit, and this can be any name that you want. I just picked explicit. So I still don't fully understand how, like, where and how source or require searches in neovim, but I do know that if you put in Lua and then some directory with like your specific name, it will work. So mappings is now just a module that sets all of the mappings. How exactly you set all your mappings, it doesn't actually matter. So this file sets all the mappings, and it by itself will not do anything. It will not like get sourced automatically once you open new vim, which is why you have to source it somewhere. I do it in this place. I require explicit dot mappings. So when new vim starts, all of my mappings are added. But if I do so here, this also now works. I can just source this file, and it will run all of the mappings, basically resetting them again. Which is super cool. Right, so back to this. CM, and now I can just start typing in like stash or something. That's really nice. Let's add an Anki card for this. Code get mapping CM. Although it doesn't really make sense to add it as a mapping, because I assume I'm going to be using it very commonly, and I'll just naturally remember it. At which point I'll just delete it. The Anki card. Good. So now, like, let's say I want to check UFO, as I said. Now I can copy prior. And now I'm thinking, like, how would I look? I guess I would just check out, right? First I would have to stash, then check out to this commit, and now I can look for UFO, or I guess not. UFO, and here it is, the configuration, which does not exist for me currently because I don't use it UFO anymore, and yet here it is. And now I just switch back to main and stash pop. Okay. Oh, and yeah, by the way, it disappeared here because no longer exists. Okay, so I actually really like this. This is really fucking good. Remember stash flags, because I know of stash dash s. Hi. Git stash dash s stages only the stage changes. So say you have a few changes here, you stash, or rather you git add one of them or some of them, and when you do stash dash s dash capital S, it will only stash that staged change, and these two will stay intact, which is very convenient. We're working on making Git interaction in NeoVim better. I thought I switched to main. Hello? I guess new vim tripped out. I hope that doesn't continue. Okay, let's go back to mapping. So now an easy way to run git commands without the cumbersomeness of pressing Enter Shift G space. Just kind of like, ugh. So this is great. Now on to stashes. Stashes make a lot of sense for some way to interactively, I guess, interact with them. By default, in telescope git stash, you can press enter to apply a stash. I don't like that because I usually when I want to apply a stash, I want to remove it too. So what I want to do is make this thing interactive. Can connect MongoDB. Did I mean that I'm stupid? No, that means that you're human. I have no clue how to do anything with MongoDB actually. So we will provide a very similar interface. One will copy like the stash index, so we can do whatever else I might want with it. Then apply, pop, and remove. So those actions. Okay, let's go to telescope. So for git branches, I considered like, oh, maybe Vim Fugitive provides us a way to do something with the branches, but I think that's not the case. Git branch. Oops. Git branch. Branch. Not here. Branch. No. So no like special behavior for going through branches. That's okay. So just this one. Now I'm wondering if it makes more sense to make this start in normal mode, but I think no, because I can just search. If there are not many, I can fairly easily search for stuff. Because the enter mapping that I'm going to show you right now will work regardless. So when I press enter, I can either switch to this branch by using git switch, I can delete this branch, and I can also just copy the branch's name. It might make sense to have an action to copy the git hash of the branches of the branch, but I don't know if I need that yet, so I won't be adding it just yet. So git branches I'm actually pretty happy with, because the deletion and switchation makes a lot of sense. I did a lot of switch main when I already know very precisely what branch I want, and it's like not a long name of the branch. I'll just use the command directly and switch to main, for example, or dev. But if I don't quite remember or want to type in the entire branch name, now this actually makes more sense to use. And like, boom, switch to main. So I'm quite happy with the branch related actions. Okay, nice. Let's create a function called get stash pick that takes a buffer number because Telescope will provide us with that. Then we basically copy everything. We'll change most of it though. This is okay, I think. Yeah. We don't need prior. Okay. Now instead of commit hash, this is actually stash. Should also get used to giving messages to my git stashes. Okay, so we get the stash, and what can we do with it? We can already copy it. That's going to be the last action, because it's like probably not what I want to do. The action that is going to be first is pop. And I will run vimcmd silent get stash pop this stash. Then apply vimcmd silent get stash apply this stash. I wish it, like, the syntax highlighting didn't disappear once I use a variable. It's kind of sad. And delete. Or I guess the correct word for this is drop, because that's what I'm going to be actually executing. So stash drop that stash. There should be spaces in here. So now, interesting. What if I force it? Well, force it. So, interesting how the formatter works. It won't always format. Interesting. So, git stashes, press enter. Oh, right. I haven't actually used the function stash get stash. I don't even have the mappings. Interesting. So stash that's the correct name, but instead of commits, stash that's correct. So basically, regardless if we are in normal or insert mode, when I press enter, it will let me interactively do an action with a stash. Same thing about a commit, same thing about a branch. So let's try that. When I press enter, I can pop, which should be on O. I can apply, can drop, or copy. Let's do pop. And it has working. I think, yeah, because we have that there. Let's stage this and stash dash capital S. As you can see, it is now removed because it is stashed. So I want to drop this. I should make the picker not disappear after an action, I think. And this I want to pop. And now it should be back. And it is also unstaged, which is really good. Oops. Okay, good. That's amazing, actually. Let's not close the picker. Let's comment this out if I ever decide otherwise. Yeah, no stashes. Let's like add not here something. I stash this what? I stash this line. I don't stash this line. I stage this line, then stash dash capital S. I want to apply it. Is it okay? No, Lamau? Interesting. Is it just gone? Huh. Is it not apply? It is apply. I'm confused. Let's say I pop it. Huh. That's really weird. But if I close the picker, then that should be fine, which is weird. Something. Stage the line. Stash dash S. Let's apply. Okay, something is wrong here. It's like very interesting. Well, first of all, let's add this. Good question. What happens when I copy? Yeah, that's what I expect. So stash apply. Nothing happens. Let me guess. No? Really? Okay, let's unsilent it. Oh, I see. Ah, okay, so I shouldn't always silence stuff. Mm-hmm. Good to know. Very good to know. So it doesn't want to do the stash because it would override stuff. In apply, git stash apply. Can we? I ask for help. Fine. In apply, doesn't seem like we can. Basically, what I want to do is figure out how I can use stashes to like merge in a change, basically. Because currently, if there are changes, it will not allow me to bring in a stash. First of all, let's go to CM. Let's actually not make this silent, because as we just learned, it can be convenient or important, I guess. But this also means that this works. Cool. So everything works. Now it's just a matter of how good at stashing I am. Because the tool now works how I want, which is brilliant. Cool, let's commit this. And that's going to be the next thing to do. So what do we have here? So telescope stashes I changed, and this I changed. Good. What I find to be super cool is that I have multiple options. I may use the telescope picker to maybe like delete a branch, but I don't have to, because I can just as easily just do branch -d main, which I may prefer even though it's slower, because it feels more clean. And this type of choice is really nice. This is the same reason why I have the help telescope picker and also a mapping for help directly. Same reason. It's to allow myself to feel a bit cleaner and smoother when I already know what I'm looking for and don't want to search. So yeah, this let's commit interactive get stash get commit telescope pickers. Cool. Good. Maybe I should turn off lazy redraw. It's the reason why it still thinks I have like that and why I have to re-edit the file. Sure. Lazy read. Oh, I already have it to false. Well, I guess that's a different issue then. So next thing is to make an interactive git thingy. First of all, leader CZ is untaken, and it's what I'm going to be using for the interactive git thingy. Okay, so let's make a mapping on leader CZ. It's going to be a function. See how nice snippets are, by the way? I just used 3. Wait, 2 actually. I was able to make a mapping very nice and easily. So, we do local options. So, commit all is going to be on L here. Because imagine this, I press comma Z, and then I have to use the same finger to press A, when in reality it's the most commonly wanted option to commit everything. So I want it to be on L instead. So add everything and silent g commit -q. I don't get why it jumps there. All now gitted. There's a difference. Oh fuck, I was in fucking I was in insert mode. Okay, because this mapping alt/, if I'm in normal mode, it creates a new pane, and if I'm in insert mode, it closes new vim, saves and closes. So there is git add and commit. Ignore this for now. So this will add every file, it will stage every file and commit everything. But there is also just git commit -a. What's the difference? The difference is that git commit -a will only commit files that were previously committed. So if you create a new file, it is now unstaged. With the git commit -a, it will not get committed, it will not get touched. But all of these will, like these other changes. If you do git add dot and git commit, then all of these will get committed. And this is a very convenient difference. This means that I can fairly easily add new files and not worry about them too much. Okay, so gitted is commit -a q. Then we do a thing for amend, just amend the previous commit. Commit, amend, and same thing, netted. Also amend, but no edit. So the use case for this is for when I want to add some file into a commit and I don't want to edit the commit message. So here are the options. Now we do pict env confirm null prompt. Here are the options. If not picked, then return, so we do nothing. Vim command silent get picked. And that is it. Fairly simple. Let's try it out. Reload mappings. And commit all. Leader CZ. Interactive commits. And now it is exactly what happened. That's cool. Okay, now let's do copy prior git rebase -i to this commit. Well, now the silent was actually useful. Damn. We'll see, I guess. So we edit. What I'm trying to do is basically remove a change from this commit. How the fuck do I do that? Where's the section where it tells me all the options? Edit, but I feel like that's gonna appear, yeah, 44 times. Mm-hmm. I see. So here are the options we can use for that. Interesting. So, well, I remember how it was. So we can do it like this. And basically revert the change. This is obviously not viable. So I should look up how to do this better. Then do rebase, continue. And now we fix it again. Voila! Amazing, isn't it? We removed a change that we staged from a commit, and now we can commit it more properly. Like, no, not amend. All. Wait, no, not Astro. X remap. Fix YTDLP hotkeys. Long form versus ASMR. Blammo. Okay. Still thinking about how I would handle that better. But once again, that's like a thing for learning how Git works better rather than a tooling issue. In other words, all the tooling is now done. It's like correct and good. Let's add back silent to it, because that is apparently pretty useful. Because otherwise what happens is that it will say, oh, press enter to blah 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 every time. Okay, I have an idea. So the reason why it says, oh, press enter blah 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 is because I don't have a command line. So it wants to show me output, and if there is at least one line, it can be properly ignored. But there is no line for it to give output into, and so it yells, even if it's something that I don't care about. So let's make this a function. We will change the command line, cmd height, I think, yeah. We do vim opt local cmd height is 1, then we do feed keys git and we'll create an auto command. Create auto cmd on command line leave. Correct. That will have a callback to set it back to nothing. Command height is 0. So that's an interesting hack. So now when I press CM, this is what happens. It gives us this, like, I don't know, git show. Oh, he yells at me for another thing. And as you can see, it got brought back out. So this is very good. Let's mark this place. Oh, we're not in the correct file even. Let's go to auto commands and wrap this as well into a p call. Blammo. So it doesn't yell at us. Cool. Cool. So I could do a very similar thing for the full ass commands that actually get run. It's probably okay though. We'll see if I need that. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But for the main thing, I don't hate it. Generally, I enjoy nothing jumping like this when I open command mode, but here it makes sense. So now if I try to do something wrong, I will still see the output, but if I do everything right, I won't have to care about the output. Good. Stage everything. CM hacks to do silent without silent. I guess is how I would explain it. Hacks to do silent without silent. Amazing and very easily understandable and searchable commit message. Okay, so this is basically everything that I actually wanted. Okay, Dreed is interesting. Do I want to use it though? What does it do once again? What's Dreed? Dreed is that operates on the... Ooh. That's really good, and I should use it, honestly. So basically, say I pick some commit like, oh, let's copy prior of this. Let's copy this commit, and I do read Mm-hmm. Well, this is really wrong. So it expects a file name specifically. Where do you pass it the hash? That's like the use case for it, though. It's like, what? Just to be sure, I copy this, what's in my clipboard. Yeah, the commit hash. Oh, so it reads the commit message. Why is that useful? Why is that useful? Okay, fine, whatever. Let's, do we have any changes? Do we have any changes? We do not. Comment. I do read. I guess it restores the file. Mm-hmm. Cool, I guess. I keep reloading NeoVim when I can just reload mappings. So, for that reason, I can do this. So effectively, what this lets me do is restore this file to what it was like on head before I made any changes. In other words, something that I already have access to through git signs, so it's useless. Gotcha. No clue what this means, and honestly I couldn't be bothered to understand. Delete is pretty cool. But also, whatever. Okay. This is remapped to this, that. Yes, we have done that. Some accessible mapping that specifically, we did that. Stashes are interactive with the confirm, because they're pickerish. So true. We did this, and we did this. Brilliant. Amazing. So now I think I have a pretty nice Git workflow. Fuck yeah. And all of this didn't make me need to handle this point. Let's look at it still. Dressing. So dressing, let me actually just show you differently. This is Vim UI select. You get provided a bunch of options and you pick one of them by typing in first the number, which I already kind of dislike, and then also pressing enter, which is terrible, which is really bad. Rather than confirm, for example, which lets you just press a single key and it understands immediately. But confirm then has to specify all the options on a single line, I believe, so it's less convenient. Basically, I want a better Vim UI select. I have a feeling that I'll have to just make it myself, but maybe not. So I want to check which options we have for select. So we have telescope, FZF Lua, FZF, all of these are kind of eh. Because with options, I want a very one-to-one direct picker. Let's look at built-in again. Hold up. Is Vim select? What? So Vim select. Yeah, sure. Let's actually look at it. So items is just a table of items. Pretty simple. Opts prompts on choice. Prompts the user to pick from a list of items, allowing arbitrary work until on choice. Interesting. So I already see that in the NUI option, there's no like numbers or anything. So I assume you just have to either search or go down and up. So this is immediately not what I want. Same thing about the built-in one. And this uses FZF, which is once again not what I want. And telescope is just, I am running away from it actively, so dressing doesn't provide me with what I want. What I'll likely have to do is implement my own Vim UI select. I got sent a thingy that already kind of does this. It uses NUI, which I don't want to use, because there's a lot of overcomplication in things that don't really require it. Like here it has like what? A border top text. I don't want that. It'll also probably a floating window. Yes, it is. I also don't want that. So a lot of kind of useless stuff. What I'm looking for really is good question. Can I configure? Can I just simply configure select? Arbitrary hint string indicating the item shape. Huh. Interesting. So this bullshit I also have to deal with. Maybe not. So doesn't seem like so. There's no like, oh, make Vim UI select better type of option. So this makes the onChoice function required. What does one onChoice actually take? A choice. That makes sense. Yeah, I'll most likely just make my own Vim UI select. So the idea is that it just prints all the lines that are pre-appended with keys, and you just press a single key to select that option. Yeah, that's the idea. So we make sure that the onChoice function is given to us. Yeah, it doesn't seem very useful. So let's go here and create, for now, just env select. So we should use the same options. So options, wait, how does it word that? Items, I see. Items, opts, onChoice. Because basically I'll have to make my Vim UI select support everything that Vim UI select supports. So opts has prompt format item, and kind, arbitrary string indicating the item shape. May wish to use this. In other words, I don't think it matters. And onChoice is item called once the user made a choice, is the one based index of the item. How the fuck do we implement this? Okay, so first of all, we have all the items. Let's make the hints first. Hints is FDS REW VC X A, and then a similar thing. Wrap each one of those into a string. Blammo. So items is supposed to be a string, right? Yes. If items, how many of these do we have? 20. Okay. So if items is bigger than the length of hints, then we notify too many options. And we say how many items there were and blammo. So this is like an error message. Okay. What we need now is basically a way to make sure that the user sees this input. And I wonder how that is done. Without NUI. Like, I really cannot be bothered to learn about library for something that it's way too big for. Ah, yes, let's make this a fucking floating window with borders and everything. Stop doing that, plugin creators. There's beauty in the simplicity of Vim, which is kind of overblown a lot of the times. Oh, you want to use Git? Here you go, have like 1 billion UIs. Damn, don't. Okay, so NeoVim Echo. I think I used this somewhere. I use it in get char. A list of text arrays, each representing, I see, a text chunk with specified highlight. Can you please explain why it's a list of arrays? Or rather, why it's a list? That's cool. That's pretty simple, goddamn. Let's set file type to Lua and try this out. So NeoVim Echo line 1 line 2. So you still, like, you super have to specify 3 arguments. This is really annoying considering that, like, I really don't care. False. Like, these 2 parameters should just be like, ah, alright then, if you don't specify them. So, like, ugh. Ah, they're an array because for the different fucking highlight groups. Blammo. Okay. So this, I think, means that we can just do this. I'll need to fix that. Blammo. You know what this means? That's crazy. It's formatted. So here's the idea. First is F, then the choice. Wait, no, not this fast. With the input group of shell pink, which I believe exists. Let's check that. Shell pink, just straight shell pink. Yes, it exists, but yes, let's pick bold. Bold. And then this is option. Well, well, well. Would you look at that? So, okay, fuck yeah. Okay, fuck yeah, I think I have the idea down. That's really good. So, we print all of the options, and it's just some table manipulation, that's easy. And they will have hints at the start. How exactly I'm going to make them look is a very small and unimportant thing. I also want to like print them in reverse, so that the first option is here and then it goes up. Then I will expect a key from the user. If it is not one of the keys, yeah, it's going to be a while loop until it is one of the keys, or the user presses escape. Cool. Then once I have the key that the user pressed and I know that it is valid, if it is escape, we just return nil. But if it is an actual key, we check what index it is. We check what index it is and use that choice. The biggest worry is not really the implementation, it's how to make it like work as expected in Vim UI Select. So basically, the works of how to pick, I already know how to implement. Let's reread what it expects. So, arbitrary items. Okay, so my worry is on choice. So item, it's just the item that we picked. So the user will be able to provide, or actually will have to provide, the onChoice function, and in my Vim UI select, once I figure out what choice the user made, I'll have to pass item that they picked into there, as well as the index of that item. Got it. And they're nil if there was no choice. Okay, I got it. I got the design behind it. But as you can probably notice, I'm like already... my brain is kind of falling apart streaming and doing this. So we're not gonna be going for much later. First of all, I have to share with you this track, because it's been stuck in my head recently. It's so good. I might have already shared it before, but I'm obsessed with it. And then a 12-minute track by Hollow, which is like, oh my god, it's a godsend, truthfully. Another godsend will be Vim UI select once I implement it. Because basically, if I want to sort oil, which is something I do very often, I have to first of all type a number, which is like kinda annoying to type as it is. I would rather press a key to not move my hands that much. So first I type a number, then I have to press enter. If I have more than 10 entries, that's already kind of shitty anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But okay, fine. Still, there are, what, 26 letters, and then also some special characters. You have plenty enough single keys to allow like all the options. Because if you have more than 26 here, I won't even see all of the options, so it doesn't matter if I can pick them or not, because I won't see them. So this enter bullshit is kinda annoying. So blammo, and then I have to do it again, so number enter. What I'll be able to do after, because I can just replace Vim UI select, is I do the same thing. I press, I guess it will be FS, wait, FS, wait, FDS R E W. I'll press W, and then immediately just F. Oh, that's gonna be so good. It is kind of very confusing how it starts at the start rather than from the prompt that I'm looking at. Can you provide prompt? Yes, you can. Default to select one off. So I guess this is used by oil, like it provides this prompt. That's pretty annoying, actually. So this implies... Wait, no, actually, since it's my implementation, I can just filter this. Like, if the user provides as prompt type number and enter, or click with the mouse Q or empty cancels, I just replace it with whatever the fuck I want. Yeah, so that's pretty nice. Once I make this, I might turn this into a plugin that you just run setup on, and in setup it replaces Vim UI select with my implementation. Okay, let's create another tab like this. Hold up. Actually, there is a better way of doing this. I want to see, is there like input? Select. There is a chance that these don't have special highlight groups, but just in case they do, that would be convenient, so that I could just use that in my plugin. Doesn't seem to be that way. I kind of really don't want to make my own highlight group. I'll just make an option in the plugin to give it a table that is the new highlight group that you want to use for the picking things. So for this, it will use either a default table, which will link to red, I think. I think red goes hard in this, or or the table that you provide, if you provide one. If you provide the wrong table, it's on you. Oh, also I should probably add like a semicolon there. And optionally provide an ability to customize that, I guess, as well. Doing it through a highlight group is like, it makes more sense. But I don't think I'll bother. So yeah, you'll be able to configure that, and then you just press a single key and blammo blammo, and you can just use it anywhere. Damn, that's gonna be amazing. But yeah, I don't have the energy right now to actually implement all of this, but glad to have thought it out with you. Hope this makes sense. Once I make this, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna succeed, I'll be surprised if not. I'll show that to you as pure code first, if you want to get like an early release, I guess. And then maybe in the future, possibly, I'll make this into a plugin. But we'll see if that's going to be the case. So thanks for watching. You should join my Discord server, especially if you want to get the chatter wall that you can opt into to get pinged for whenever I stream. Yeah, the link is in